watching KTAL News Now. Here's Brittany DeFran with your Midday News Break.
Happy Friday. We've made it through yet another week. Thanks for joining me here on KTAL News Now. I'm Brittany DeFran. Your Midday News Break starts right here. Starting off with a Money Matters topic, as it's been a good year for infrastructure development in Louisiana. According to the State Secretary of Transportation and Development, Dr. Shawn Wilson was a guest speaker yesterday at the Rotary Club of Bossier City. He gave an update on the projects that the Northwest region is looking at, including the I-49 Intercity Connector. He says the Interstate 20 repair project through Bossier came in at 50% over budget, so they'll have to relook at that and rescope that project before next year. But Dr. Wilson also adds that there is more money in the state budget and they're ready to use it for infrastructure.
Really good things are happening. Just yesterday, we announced $270 million that's going to be spent on locally owned bridges here in the state of Louisiana. And then the national investment that we're seeing from the bipartisan infrastructure law is absolutely fantastic for infrastructure. They're spending over $1 billion new dollars on infrastructure in Louisiana just in our formula program.
He says the Jimmy Davis Bridge project also needs a rebidding process for next year.
I said when I ran for president, no one should be in jail just for using or possessing marijuana. It's already legal in many states, and criminal records for marijuana possession have led to needless barriers to employment, to housing, and educational opportunities. And that's before you address the racial disparities around who suffers the consequences.
While this act to issue federal pardons is indeed important, indeed it has the whole nation talking, and indeed it is something that voters want, let's be clear, it is only going to impact a small portion of the millions of Americans who are saddled with the stigma of a criminal cannabis conviction, a conviction for behavior that the majority of Americans no longer think should even be classified as a crime.
President Biden says he will ask the Justice and Health Departments to review how marijuana is scheduled under federal law. Biden is encouraging state governors to take similar action with state offenses. The White House says that more than 6,500 U.S. citizens were convicted for simple marijuana possession under federal law. One national advocacy group calls it a good start, but there's more work to be done. States are left with the authority to regulate their own laws, as 19 states have diverted from the federal prohibition and legalized recreational use. Now this leads us to our question of the day. Alrighty, giving you a moment to take down this QR code you see right here on your screen. Today's question of the day is right here, and we want to hear from you. Do you agree with Biden's decision to pardon simple marijuana charges? Go ahead and put your answer in if you agree or disagree with the Biden's administration to hopefully take a step in addressing the racial disparities communities see for people being criminalized for marijuana. Go ahead and put what your thought is here. And we are continuing coverage on the case that has gripped the nation. The Capitol murder trial of Taylor Parker provided plenty of shocking testimony and gruesome details. Now the NBC6 News team is digging deeper. We'll hope you'll join us today at 4 p.m. for a sit-down talk with our digital executive producer, Carolyn Roy. Catch it all on KTALnews.com or the NBC6 Facebook page. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more on your Midday News Break.
You're watching KTAL News Now. Here's Brittany DeFran with your Midday News Break.
Welcome back to KTAL News Now. I'm Brittany DeFran. You're joining me here in the Digital Streaming Center where we cover the most important stories of the day and take a deep dive into issues you care about. Hey, your midday news break starts right here. Coming in with some consumer alert news, the decision by OPEC to cut oil production by 2 million barrels a day is beginning in November, and that has consumers asking what lies ahead. Some are bracing for effects on their finances, while AAA says Louisiana has seen a sharp increase in gas prices, with about 10 cents higher today compared to a week ago. We spoke to some people in the community, and here's what they had to say.
I think it's wrong, and it's probably going to jump up another 10 or 15 cents within the month. So I'm gathering all my vehicles and gassing them up, so next time it won't cost me as much.
Some even say they sometimes must choose between fuel and food and expect higher prices in the days to come. A Louisiana AAA spokesperson confirms that as they predict another spike due to OPEC's announcement. And NBC6 is your local election headquarters. You can definitely count on us to give you the latest. The South Shreveport Voters League held a forum last night featuring those running for the District East City Council seat. Many residents came out to hear the candidates' vision for the district as well as answers to residents' top concerns. A popular topic of discussion was the Cedar Grove neighborhood. Also, we wanted to give you a reminder as NBC6 is hosting a debate with the candidates for Shreveport Mayor. It's Thursday, October 20th at 7 p.m. Go ahead and put that in your calendars, and it will be held at the Southern University in Shreveport. The topic of discussion will be infrastructure. And President Biden says he will ask the Justice and Health Departments to review how marijuana is scheduled under federal law. Biden is encouraging state governors to take similar action with state offenses. The White House says more than 6,500 U.S. citizens were convicted for simple marijuana possession under federal law. One national advocacy group calls it a good start, but they say there's more work to be done. States are left with the authority to regulate their own laws as 19 states have diverted from the federal prohibition and legalized recreational use. Now this leads us to our question of the day. Giving you a moment to take down this QR code you see right here on your screen. Alrighty, today's question of the day is, do you agree with Biden's decision to pardon simple marijuana charges? Go ahead and put your answer in here as we want to hear from you. So it looks like the Biden administration is hoping to take a step in addressing racial disparities as communities see from people being criminalized for marijuana. And we continue our coverage on the case that has gripped the entire nation. The Capitol murder trial of Taylor Parker has provided plenty of shocking testimony and gruesome details. Now the NBC6 team is digging deeper. We hope you'll join us today at 4 p.m. for a sit-down talk with our digital executive producer, Carolyn Roy. You can catch it all on KTALnews.com. Hope you guys have a great and safe weekend. That's all we have for you today. See you next time.